Self-esteem is how we perceive and value ourselves. It's about our opinion and our beliefs that we have about ourselves. We can also think about self-esteem as your self-confidence. And I'll be also giving some tips on how to elevate your self-esteem. So what is self-esteem? Self-esteem is about the judgments and the evaluation that we make about our self-concepts. If the feeling is negative, then we have a low self-esteem. If it is positive, then we have a high self-esteem. We self-evaluate every day based on how we feel about ourselves. So what are some factors that influence self-esteem? Personal experience, relationship, society's expectation, and also your culture can influence your self-esteem. Also, negative experiences, criticism, and unrealistic expectation also can be a factor in you having low self-esteem. So it's important to recognize that self-esteem can vary across different areas of your lives, such as in academics, in your social interaction, and also in your physical appearance. A person with low self-esteem is going to experience feelings of inadequacy, lack of confidence, and self-doubt. These emotions are going to significantly impact their speech, their language skills, and making it difficult for them to express themselves effectively and have meaningful conversation. If you were asked to tell me who you are and then to evaluate the list of things that you said about yourself, we would gain some insight about your self-esteem. On that list, you would probably use words such as good, bad, desirable, undesirable, positive, negative, or some of the example of the words that we use to assess ourselves. Self-esteem can also influence language development. When individuals have low self-esteem, they may doubt their ability to understand and use language effectively. This self-doubt can hinder their language comprehension, the vocabulary, and sentence structure. Common language difficulties associated with low self-esteem are going to include things like difficulty with complex instructions. You will have limited vocabulary. You will have challenges expressing your thoughts and ideas in a confident way. These difficulties are going to impact academic performance, social interaction, and your overall communication abilities. When I came to the US, I struggled with American English. I spoke English with a Caribbean twist, so it was challenging to grasp grammar, word order, sentence structure. I did not know there was a difference between the English and the French sentence structure, so that was new to me. It was very challenging. I would not have discussion during class in college. I was more the listener type. If I said something, it was very short because I was concerned about how people were going to view me, how they were going to judge me, my accent, the way I look, all of that. And so it made for a challenging learning situation. Just to give you a little bit of clarity, let's say, for example, you have a sentence in English, a basic sentence, a small house. In French, une petite maison. So as you see, there's three words in English, three words in French. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. However, that's not always the case when you're dealing with a complex sentence. You may have a 5-word sentence in English. In French, it could end up being 6 or 7 or 8. And the reason is because of the, not vocabulary, but the conjugation. There's a lot of verb conjugation in French, which you don't have in English. There's also a lot of noun gender agreement in French, which does not exist in English. So if you can understand, I was learning a whole new language, okay? And so it was quite difficult and challenging to make sense of everything that was going on. So as a result of that, there was a lot of frustration, there was a lot of self-doubt, there was a lot of low self-esteem as a result of that. Because when I had conversation or when we had group conversation, I would refrain from talking or saying anything because I was concerned about how people were going to view me and what people were going to say. Now about self-esteem and family. The family is the first circle where your formation of yourself, your self-perception is born. The way that you interact in your family when you're growing up, when you're a child, is what is going to determine your self-perception. Sometimes we're intrinsically motivated, meaning that we do something because of the love of it, because we want to do it, or because there's an internal satisfaction. Okay. So intrinsic motivation means that it's a sense of purpose. It's either an interest or value. Those are things that come from within you. So an example of intrinsic motivation would be that you're learning a new skill out of curiosity or self-improvement. At other times, we are extrinsically motivated, meaning that we do something for example, to receive an award. Those things can include for recognition, money, or praise. So an example of extrinsic motivation would be that you're working to receive a bonus or you participating in a competition to win a prize. So say you decide to put effort into learning a new skill, you become a lawyer. You decide you want to be an advocate for other people, you want to go to battle for other people. It means that this desire that you have, the motivation is coming from within you. It's an internal motivation. On the other hand, you may have it where your parents is going to pay for your tuition and they say, I want you to go to college to become a lawyer. Now, you don't really want to be a lawyer, but you're doing it because they are going to pay for your tuition. So now you're motivated by an external factor. The tuition is going to be covered, so you're going to do it knowing deep down you don't really want to, but you're doing it because of that external factor. How about self-esteem when it comes to the media? The representation that we see in media may affect our self-perceptions. The idealized images, the glossy images, the perfection that we see in the magazines are not typically the representation that we see when we are out and about, for example, at the grocery stores, at the movies. Those are not the same images that we see or people we see on a daily basis. Oftentimes, we'll see pictures on social media that are edited, that are glossier looking, okay? And it gives us the sense that there's a perfection, in those pictures. Not all, but a lot of those pictures are carefully selected to show the best side or the best part of an event. And now you're looking at your social media and comparing yourself. And so now you're feeling bad about yourself because you want your photos to look like your photos or the lifestyle that they're presenting on social media. And so now this causes for a lot of stress. And so you compare yourself, you look at how many likes they receive, comparing to your likes, how many shares, how many comments they receive. And so you're stressing yourself out because of this. And so this obsession has you thinking, why this other person's media and posts receive more attention than yours? How does self-esteem affect decision making? A person with a high self-esteem tends to have more positive interaction with other people because he or she views himself in a higher regard. He or she tends to be more assertive and more confident. On the other hand, a person with a low self-esteem is going to struggle with social interaction. They may have trouble making friends. They may have trouble expressing themselves. And ultimately, this is going to lead to loneliness and isolation. So how do we cultivate high self-esteem? The first one is monitor the way that you talk to yourself. You want to talk positively about yourself. So one way to do that is to write down positive affirmations. And you're going to write them down every day, and then you're going to say them every day. And that way it becomes a habit. Number two, surround yourself with positive people. It's important to evaluate the people that surround you and to evaluate the relationships that are going to build you up. Consider setting boundaries with people who are not inclined to support. Number three, we want to practice self-care. Eating nutritional food and regular exercise is a good way to practice self-care. And lastly, you want to avoid comparing yourself to other people. Instead of focusing on other people, you want to focus on you and your strength and your attributes and what makes you who you are. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.